Hey kids, you like pro wrestling? I like pro wrestling. Let's shake them ropes. I'm Jeff Hawkins along with the returning Chris Novembrino. Welcome back, sir. Your replacement, original, did not work out.
Yeah. What do you want me to say? I know I set up a great bit and the punchline was not delivered, and this is a take it to the grave situation for me. I shan't forget this, and
You have cursed my family, sir. I shan't forget this.
look, like, you know the day. Are you familiar with the day? Because it's gonna be rude.
ROUX.
Yeah, rue the day, baby. You're gonna rue the day.
Rue McClanahan the day. R.I.P. to the great comedic genius Norm Macdonald, or as David Letterman liked to call him, Norm Macdonald. I quite enjoy that. Had a couple of run-ins with him early in my stand-up life / comedy life. And I view him more as a stand-up than a talk show guest, but I admit his talk show guest shtick was some fantastic deconstruction of the talk show genre in so many ways. And if you want to expound on that, we can. But back when I was a young man with dreams, the day after I graduated from college, I was in New York City getting ready for my next class at NYU, learning how to write sitcoms. And at night, I would go around and try and pay my dues at the open mics in New York City. And one night I had picked up a copy of New York Magazine with the cover story being about the alternative comedy boom, which is more or less a pretentious way to market comedians. It was, Uncabaret was getting big out here. And it was like the genre of comics like Louis C.K. and Patton Oswalt and Sarah Silverman and Dave Attell, because they were trying to basically separate them from the quote unquote hateful comedy of Carrot Top and or hacky comedy of Carrot Top, but the hateful comedy of Andrew Dice Clay. Yeah, Carrot Top doesn't get too,
I like
Carrot Top doesn't get too edgy.
The malicious comedy of
the malicious.
He was so cruel. That was the thing about Carrot Top.
That's what he'll be remembered for, his innate cruelty. So Norm and another guy who I just adored by the name of Drake Sather, who, if you ever listen to Drake Sather's stand-up, he has the same cadence as Norm, but it's a little more nasally, so it's kind of a weird thing. And both of them sat at the knee of Dennis Miller, so that was the holy trinity for me back then. Drake went on to write some great episodes of like News Radio and Just Shoot Me and other things, but they came in and they saw this magazine. What's that? Alternative comedy? Alternative to what? Being funny? And then Drake chimes in, I think I'm going to start doing my punchlines in front of the joke and see how that goes. And they take the magazine and they start reading and they start doing bits. This is like 3 a.m. in the bar and we're just doing bits and they're holding court and everything. It's just, it was surreal to watch these two guys just keep on riffing. And like they get to the part of the story about Sarah Silverman being fired from Saturday Night Live. And there are things I cannot share here about what Norm and him said at the time, but apparently they've made up in some ways, or he was just blowing off steam. But I move out to LA, and about a year later, I'm in the Improv, because the thing to do for young stand-ups would be, you butter up the box office person. Hey, can I come in and just watch these sets? Because all the headliners would come in around 10:30 or so, and up until about 1 a.m. they do 10 minutes of stuff because they're trying stuff for the road or the next special or something like that. And I'm drinking at the bar, and Norm and Drake Sather both walk in, and they're talking to another comic by the name of Anthony Clark, who had a show on back then named Boston Common. I think that's the name of it. I'm just sitting there alone, just kind of mind my own business. And Norm all of a sudden gives me this dirty look. I'm just like, oh shit, what did I do? He goes, don't you live in New York? And I just go, well, that's an LA story I'll keep forever. But to me, he was always the guy who was doing these jokes where you're like, you ever have a dog who told you to kill it and it takes off his mask? Oh, it's me, Bob. Oh, Bob, you got me. He loved the joke. I loved his earnest repeating of punchlines and trying to explain jokes that made things that much funnier. And 9-year battle with cancer. He never told anybody.
Yeah, I was a huge Norm Macdonald fan growing up, and I always found him to be funny, even in his later years when he got a little strange for my taste, but he still remained funny, generally speaking. And it's a strong and bold choice to have a battle like that and just keep it private. It's fitting with him. I don't think he wanted to show any point of vulnerability or have that sort of like huggability thing because it's like so contra to his comedy. Like,
He's
I
just
think
there to be funny. He's not there to be deep or to emotionally sway you or anything
well,
like that.
and there's this danger. It's weird, but perhaps he was sort of instinctually right that like you can't actually share that and then get the laughs that you want to get. You start getting like sympathy laughs, like
Yeah.
oh man, yeah, you know, and like
Oh, this is the last special. Got to laugh for her.
yeah, right. It's kind of like the cousin of Clapter.
Yeah.
Like, and if you don't want to get that, and you want to get earnest, actual laughs and stuff, then you have to go out there and be the straight comic. And so, like, he made a really strong choice. And I mean, I think, you know, looking back, especially whatever you thought about what he did, kind of, you know, where he kind of took a turn here in the later years, you have to respect that he did all of that while keeping this cancer thing extremely private and just not making it a part of his career.
The thing that people may not know about him, and this is from people who worked on his sports show that I know, like there was a short-lived sports show, I believe, on Comedy Central or something like that. A few of my friends worked on things like that. They go, you know, I kind of asked them, hey, you know, I don't know him that well, and I've heard people talk about him. Like Miller loved him, just adored him as a human being. He just sit there in the room and just listen to Norm all day and just laugh at him. But I go, well, what's something that people wouldn't ordinarily think of Norm that they would? And they go, he is the most well-read comic I've ever met. I mean, when they say he's smart, they don't mean just, you know, perceptive. I mean, he reads books, like he reads all the books on a subject if he's interested in. He's kind of that hyper focused, perhaps a little on the spectrum. They thought maybe a little bit, but just when he gloms onto a subject, he wants to just know everything about it. That and his voracious gambling habit, which it's like you want to be at the funeral. Somebody's got to go, are we going to talk about the gambling?
Yeah, it's all over his comedy, so you know it's all over his life. It's got you right what you know.
Unrepentant gambling. That's this thing. Lost a lot, made a lot. Yeah, so let's get into the Graps news. We are brought to you this week by MyBookie. More about them later, but some sad news, I think. Jake Atlas suddenly retiring from wrestling this week. His last show was last week's Ring of Honor pay-per-view. Just mentally not into the game anymore. And apparently, I did not watch the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, but apparently it was kind of clear a little bit, like about halfway through the match, that he had kind of lost a little bit of focus too. And he just lost his love. And that to me is a tragedy, because I liked what I saw of him on the indies, and it's got to be hard. Like for him, we've talked about it here on the show before. His dream was WWE. It wasn't to be the greatest professional wrestler in the world. His dream was to be a star in WWE. And when you work that hard for something and your dream doesn't come true, and you're still a young man, and you're just kind of like, well, okay, I had my shot. Now that kind of happened to me a little bit in comedy. I got a lot of, I had great representation when I came out here. I had some great pitch meetings, but didn't sell anything. And then all of a sudden I'm persona non grata. And it's just like, damn, it's like he goes, I'm 26. I got the rest of my life. I'm going to find something else to put my energy into. And I'm like, dude, AEW wanted to make you a star. Why not at least take that call? see if you can get that back. I know it's going to be hard now in this jumbled thing of pro wrestling, and it's becoming such a bigger company, and he made the wrong choice when he had the choice, I think. And that's the biggest tragedy of them all.
Yeah, I don't know that he's done. He's 26. He's
you can
46.
always change your mind. You always have the right to change your mind and come back.
And wrestling these days, as we are seeing with people like Bobby Roode, Kazarian, Christian, you can be wrestling at a high level and working all the way into your mid-40s. So for Jake Atlas, that is another 20 years.
True.
Yeah, and he's gonna come back and get his footing, so he could have a very successfy 30s. So
I could see him going to like grad school and then going to a job, and then like one day this indie says, "Hey, we need a guy. Wanted to check to see if you wanted to try a match or something." Oh, well, you know what? I'd like to see if I have it back. I could see him getting his love back after a couple years away.
Yeah, that's why when you go, he's retiring, I go, oh, it sounds more to me like he's taking a break. We'll see if he retires.
Dark Side of the Ring ran this week on a story on the plane ride from hell from 2002, I believe it was.
I've heard about this.
I was alive during this. I was a young man during this, and it's funny that a lot of people don't know about this on the old Twitter. I forget sometimes that I am this old and that a lot of people don't know all this history. But in the news, there's been a lot of backlash about this. Ric Flair's deal with CarShield is now on hold. They have stopped running the ads due to things said in the show. Tommy Dreamer is on indefinite suspension for his terrible defense of Ric Flair, admittedly. I have thoughts on that one, but I don't think I'm going to say them because, I'll say them.
Yeah, no, let's get into Dreamer because I want to talk on Dreamer too. And we can
Dreamer, let me start with the obvious. Dreamer bitched out on this because he didn't want to bury Flair. Now, the only, how do I put this? Not defense of Dreamer, because I'm not going to defend him, but there I go. But this is a documentary. He may have said something that we're not aware of. That's the only hope I'd have of here, but it doesn't sound like he did. So I'm even doubting my doubts here.
I had a real problem not just with like the substance of, defending Flair or whatever, but sort of the tone and the sustaining tone of Dreamer throughout.
That's just who he is.
Yeah. And even there was I wish I had written down all of the different lines because it's not even just the Flair stuff. It's like, that's the business stuff. Well, she really felt that strongly about it. Why did she take the settlement? She should have just prosecuted him to the fullest extent of the law. Like as he's saying that line,
that part was
disdain.
bad.
Yeah, no, there's any number of
that
things.
Was some victim blaming shit, right?
Absolutely. No, and that's the thing, there's a clear point of delineation between guys like Rob Van Dam.
Yeah, Rob got a little marbly mouth too when he was like, that's just kind of what happened with boys.
Yes.
That you date rape people.
But there's also a tonal difference between Rob Van Dam.
Yes.
I'm not saying what Rob Van Dam was saying was fine. I'm saying, okay, Rob Van Dam clearly didn't dig it or anything. Like he's not. There's a way that Dreamers. I keep having to go to the word defend, but that's kind of what it feels like. Just going like,
it was either defense or nonchalance, and I don't think it was nonchalance.
And I gotta go one step further too. In the case of this particular allegation, there are other people who were on that flight who saw Flair doing the helicopter move. So when Dreamer is denying that the helicopter move happened, like he's not just denying the woman, he's denying other eyewitnesses who saw the incident. And it's just it's classless. And actually, I'll go one more thing. The door thing, because getting back to Dreamer's general sustaining thing of nonchalance. So he's like, well, everyone's like, what would happen with the door? It could have been so bad, but like it wasn't gonna go because everyone knows that's not how these doors work. And then other people come in and bring up the valid point of, yeah, but you can break the seal on the airplane in many other places. And if you're flying over the Atlantic, and these guys, the service person on the flight, I guess you'd be a flight attendant back in those days. I don't know what the proper term is for now.
Flight attendant.
Okay, cool. I just, I'm not trying, especially given the subject.
It's the
matter.
proper nomenclature, dude.
I want to be, I want to be on point given the seriousness of this particular subject. But like, she brings up, like Lesnar and Hennig could have like slammed into the side of the plane strong enough and actually, broken the seal on the plane. This is like a pressurized seal. It doesn't take actually all that much to disrupt it if you like really put some force on it. So like, Dreamer's tone was just abysmal throughout. Flair, I mean, how can you put him on TV now? I understand.
I was going to bring up that point because I think he was scheduled to be in New York on Wednesday. I do. I think he was going to debut during this Sting match in some way. And I don't think that can happen now. It can't. I don't think you can do that I mean, look, the story, people take Twitter conversation to be far more far-reaching than it is, but by the time we get to Wednesday, it might have jumped from Twitter to
but think about this AEW audience too.
Yes,
this
the
especially the live fans and everything like that. They all saw this Dark Side of the Ring thing, and I'm with you. There's a certain naivete about the Nature Boy that I'm not defending, but like, I think for a long time, despite knowing that Ric Flair was an absolute party guy outside of the ring, and the Nature Boy, like people just didn't think that it went beyond drinking and just hitting on ladies.
It was harmless flashing,
right? Right. and you can, especially when you are seeing this woman talking about this incident at length and how she was deeply traumatized. And like all of these different, when she's afterwards, when she gets away, thanks to Dustin on the Intercom, Dustin Rhodes also extremely problematic in this. He's probably going to be getting some booze here going forward. Well,
I mean, he got fired over the damn thing. So
yeah,
I mean, he's taking his punishment, but he'll probably get like more backlash. I concur with that.
Yeah.
Let me take one Jim Ross to task.
He's another problematic tone guy. He's like Dreamer, but to your point, where you're gonna go
but he gets a pass because he's the old grandpa, and I'm telling you, a lot of these shows that deal with WWF and their personnel are reclamation projects for him, and I ain't buying it. I'm sorry. He was vice president of talent relations during this time. There was already the issue with Brock and Hennig. There was already the issue with Hayes and JBL. And now you got Flair going naked. You got to step in there. You are senior management, even if he didn't have the title at that time. And when he says, well, one of the agents, hey, somebody has to go back there and do something. Yeah, you, Jim Ross, you're not just the play-by-play guy. You are management of this company. You have to go back there and not just say boys will be boys. You have to take control of this situation. It's probably the most senior leadership on this plane. I know Flair was protected on high because he was in an angle with Vince. I don't care. That is your job. And if you have to take a bullet for that, so be it. But they are putting everybody's lives on that plane at risk. And you are the most, probably, unless Vince was on the plane, which nobody has ever said he was, other than a couple other people.
I thought they did at the end of it, that he was on the plane.
He was on the plane there, but they never said he was on the plane back. That's the thing. Although I think Jonathan Coachman said he wasn't on the plane. Other people have said he was. Kurt Angle, of course, doesn't know. He thinks he was wrestling Vince on the plane ride from hell, and he wasn't. That was another flight. But if Vince was on the flight, it's even worse to me that he let this whole thing go on. I mean, that's inexcusable. I don't care. Yeah, the owner of the company needs in and look, he was full on Vince at this time because the story from that Kurt Angle story is that he basically threatened the pilot of a plane who told them to stop and say, I'll buy this plane from you or whatever. And it's just like, dude, the management, I don't care about being part of this locker room culture, which all these guys were. All these management guys were ribbers too at times and things like that, and being cruel for cruel's sake and pushing people into swimming pools with their clothes on and getting their jollies on. This was a high school locker room where the teachers thought they were the athletes too. And that just, it takes me, well, what am I supposed to do? Follow everybody around and take responsibility? It's like, yes, on this flight,
yes, that is your job. You can't sit there and be like, I'm the vice president of talent relations. I do the hiring and firing. Vince gives me the orders and I do them. And then go, well, what am I supposed to do? Go out there and keep an eye on all these guys? Yeah, because they have to make another town. If for no other reason, then you are going to be in City X next week on Monday, and these guys
the next night,
and they need to be functional when they're in the ring. So there's actually no excuse for Jim Ross, and tonally, I don't actually think he's all that much better than Dreamer. I thought that the way Ross was talking about Flair, and then at the end he kind of go, then he'll be like, well, why did Flair get a pass? Why? Yeah, Jim, why did he? What? Yeah, right.
Let's expound on that a little bit.
If only someone could have spoken up. Someone with some stature and standing in the company, who had been in the business a long time. If only there was someone there who could have said that with some authority.
Or say, hey, not just that Flair was a legend. Flair was in an angle with the owner of the company that was a main event angle. Take your shot here, Jim. Mr. I'm bitter that the WWE fired me. Take some, and I know, look, Flair's a friend of his. I get it. You don't want to bury your friends, but man, if I do wrong, I hope a friend calls me out on it. That's all I'm saying. And I watched this, and this was just like, I wasn't an active part of it, so I couldn't possibly be any way responsible for this. When you're just passing the buck to let agents go back there and handle it and things like that. I mean, that's after the first two things, maybe you don't go to sleep.
Once Dustin has the intercom,
yes, it's
right?
not like it's a secret anymore.
Yeah, you cannot claim plausible deniability.
I had my headphones on. I was
no, because Jim Ross goes, he's a terrible singer. Like, he actually comments on the singing.
Yeah.
That's how, paying attention Jim Ross was to all of this.
How did you know he was killing the observatory if you went in there?
Yeah, so I was watching it, and the Flair incident's bad in and of itself, but the sustaining commentary from people like Dreamer, people like Ross, and I thought PJ Polanco was fine. Oh, but Scott Hall was also abysmal. And hear people kind of make light of the whole Scott Hall situation, with the flight attendant.
I think Triple H bombed me or whatever, or not Triple H, but Hennig. He blamed his behavior on somebody else. I mean, that was just, yeah. And I think there'll continue to be fallout for this. I think Dreamer loses his job probably.
Yeah, well, I mean, Dreamer now, especially as a babyface, is kind of over too, because the way Dreamer was talking about women throughout that thing was kind of that.
I think he was trying to be fair-minded, and he came off as insensitive.
Yeah, because I think there's fair-minded, and then there's revealing yourself with where you draw the line at fair.
Why would you agree to go on a documentary knowing that they can do these types of things to you? I just, no. I want to talk about one more thing before we go on, unless you had another comment for that.
No. Yeah.
Because Twitter discourse this week was interesting. Sean Ross Sapp, our friend, putting out there that Johnny Gargano's contract comes up in December of 2021. And I saw a lot of AEW fans just groaning and crying and, oh, he ruined NXT. He comes to AEW. It's gonna be a bad signing, and I don't want to see him. And are you people insane? Just put him in a tag team. He doesn't have to go for the big belt, but you're gonna take a guy who can look, the sports entertainment stuff aside, even though he's been great doing it personally. He's one of the best baby faces in peril you could ever have on a roster, especially for a tag team. You're going to say no to that because of this imaginary because you won the war and you don't want to take on the losers soldiers or something. I just it's the same reaction I have to WWE stands that think that they can do no wrong even though their product is dreadful right now for the most part. It's amazing to me, Chris.
Yeah, I saw some of the Gargano discourse, and it is very silly. He's grown personality-wise here.
Yes.
I think that he's...
Especially from the Indies, yeah.
Yeah, especially from the Indies. The work is still there. I don't think... Yes, they won the Wednesday night war. That is true. But the actual war is not over. The Wednesday night war was a battle. And there's still a broader campaign here. And picking up someone like Gargano and doing cool things with him is yet another way to draw eyeballs onto the television here. And so far, if you're looking at the ratings, what is moving AEW up to that next echelon is bringing in known entities from WWE and pushing them and presenting them in a way that's superior to what WWE was doing with them, whether that's Aleister Black, now Malachi Black, or Bryan Danielson, or CM Punk. But they are known names from WWE that are helping to elevate this brand to the next level. It's built on a base of the homegrown guys and the elite guys and the New Japan kind of core of AEW. And then on top of that, you have the WWE guys, and that's the model right now.
Speaking of which, the numbers 0.43, 1.67 million for Raw, both coming in at 2-month lows. AEW Dynamite was watched by 1.175 million viewers on average, 574,000, aged 18 to 49 for a 0.44. They edge out Raw in the demo. SmackDown up 11% from last year, 2.383 million for that Super Show that I thought was probably one of the best SmackDowns they've done since moving to Fox. That Edge match was better than the one they had at the pay-per-view. Lots of stars, lots of things happening. Then this week it kind of went back to the mean. That's fine. Any thoughts on numbers before we get into the lazy river?
No, I think that AEW continues to settle in at a nice sustaining pattern of being over 1 million. You look at the show that they put on this week, it didn't need a big hot shot. It didn't feel like this is a show that they could put on a weekly basis and do solid numbers on. John Moxley and Eddie Kingston's a good, strong television tag team that is getting a nice hot reaction. And yeah, I think that Raw is gonna keep losing numbers, and I think
especially with Monday Night Football. That game Monday was spectacular.
Yeah, so I know it's not. You're kind of comparing apples and pears right now, but the thing for Raw is it does look bad to have sentences out there like AEW is beating Monday Night Raw in the demo. Even if that has an asterisk at the end of the sentence, the fact that that sentence exists is still a problem.
Promotional consideration paid for by MyBookie this week with over $500,000 in contest prize money up for grabs. The NFL is back in action, and so is winning season at MyBookie. Lord Football is back. Head to mybookie.ag to choose from a variety of boosts and free bets and get in on the fan favorite $100,000 super contest, which only costs $10 to enter. Pick 5 games against the spread each week. Each win earns you a point, and each point gets you closer to the grand prize. In order to get you started, make your first deposit at mybookie.ag and use our promo code ROPES, ROPES, to instantly receive double your deposit. That's double your money to double your winnings with your first ever deposit using promo code ROPES, ROPES. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And we thank them for their sponsorship this week. So it's lazy river time, Chris. I'll pick a subject. You pick a subject. We'll go back and forth till we get tired of talking wrestling, I guess. Very good week of wrestling. But speaking of Raw ratings, your new WWE champion is one Big E, no longer Langston, cashing in the Money in the Bank as he hyped on social media before Raw, at the beginning of Raw, and then at the end of Raw. Thoughts? Your sound is off. So this bit isn't working that you're doing. There we go. You killed it. You killed the mood.
I know.
For those not on, what kind of what kind of thing is that for your puppet?
This is Canny's. He's masked now.
Oh, is he? He's a luchador?
He's doing a lucha thing.
Oh, okay,
now.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Let's just see where this goes.
Oh my God.
Olay!
We went all the way for that joke.
Yeah, hell yeah, we did. What other joke is there with Canny?
Let's see how it plays out. Get your line right, Canny.
Whatever,
It was a feel-good moment for a company that doesn't do a lot of feel-good moments, and they were doing feel-good moments on SmackDown on Friday. If this is a nice change, I'll take it, but I don't see a long-term reign for Big E, and I don't see a change in character with him either. It's going to be the pancakes and the funny stuff because he thinks that's what brought him to the dance. And I'm just like, and then eventually Brock's probably going to F5 him like Kofi. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think of this?
Where I think this becomes a real problem is with the off-ramp. And going back to my point about what AEW's, kind of formula is to getting to the next level, I think that this is kind of a long-term prediction, but I'll go ahead and shoot my shot. I think that the mishandling of this ultimately kind of precedes the New Day, or a member at least of the New Day, jumping ship to AEW. I just don't.
Wow,
I don't see this going well. I really don't. And I know I'm on board with Big E. I think he's a great wrestler, but
yes.
I don't think they have a vision for what this push looks like. Everyone.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question there and stop you there. Was this a hot shot?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. That's where I was going, is that people have been discussing this as a hot shot. And I mean, I agree it is. I don't think you saw any meaningful foreshadowing of this. Big E saying all that stuff on Twitter would have been absolutely unnecessary if it wasn't a hot shot. If they had been telling a story coherently over the last several weeks, he wouldn't have hopped on Twitter and been like, I'm going to cash in on Monday night. He was doing that to create some sort of structure of an angle, but it's a hot shot at angle. And I think that speaks to WWE's longer-term problem, which is they do not know where these characters are going in 3 months. And I don't think they have a plan for Big E. I don't think they have a main event.
I think they have a plan. Let me get even more cynical with you. I think he loses this at the Saudi Arabia show, which they don't say Saudi Arabia for. It's just Crown Jewel. Not in Saudi Arabia, but it's Crown Jewel, which they don't announce. I think he loses it to Lashley again.
No, I don't think he loses it there. But okay. I don't think he has it past Rumble. I don't think, like, when we get into Mania season, I don't think he's still the champion.
Okay.
And I think he maybe even loses it at Rumble. Yeah. I mean, I just don't. I don't see them. I don't see this curing what ails WWE. And when this doesn't immediately right the ship, the people who thought that this would right the ship, which is the reason it got hot-shotted, are going to go, well, that didn't work. Moving on now. And I think that there are a lot of people who really like the New Day. I like the New Day. I think
I like the New Day.
I think they're.
I can't see any of them jumping ship because they make too much money right now, and that's what the business is all about.
I'll tell you what, though, if they ever jump ship, especially with their merchandise like Dynamite, like
the Young Bucks feud. The Young Bucks feud is money because it's been on social media for a while. So yeah.
Yeah. No, if the money was right and they could get at least 2 of them over there, boy, I'll tell you, a lot of people like Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston is going to get some eyeballs on there. People like these New Day. I like the New Day.
It's your turn for a topic, sir.
Okay. Boy, let's talk about the new NXT.
NXT 2.0. Jackson Pollock version.
I will tell you what, it is a Technicolor dream coat, that NXT.
Much like Jiro wears Technicolor dream coat.
Yeah, he's kind of like the perfect fit for this. So
what was your opinion of NXT 2.0 overall? Wow. I've stopped watching him on the camera. He has like, it looks like he just got the worst migraine in the world. It just,
I think I like it, but it's also bad at the same time.
I am there with you. I'll get out mine and maybe this will spark a little something in you. It feels a lot like WW or a lot like WCW Worldwide at the Disney studios. It feels a lot like that to me. I appreciate the youth movement, but these guys are guys. And in terms of name, don't get me wrong. I love me Wayne Bloom's kid because I love Wayne Bloom. I love Rick Steiner's kid because I think he's a damn hoss and he looks like his old man and stuff like that. These names suck. Von Wagner, Braun Breaker. There's no nicknames. There's no flash to them. There's nothing. They are guys. They are guys in gear going out there and wrestling who are big. And that's why you're supposed to care about them. And it's just, I mean, every segment had who the F is this guy coming out there. My name's Trick Williams. Okay. That's great. And the line, I got the gift of gab and the gift of jab. I believe it's a Muhammad Ali line. It's
a Muhammad Ali line.
And it's fine. But that was some stilted conversation between him and Carmelo Hayes.
Wait. You mean like the half sentence "I'm now turning heel" moment for Carmelo Hayes?
Yes.
Yeah. No. Right. I'm right there with you on these names. Like when I saw Rick Steiner's kid, I was like, oh, okay, that's the Steiner kid I've been hearing about. And then they're like, his name is Braun Breaker, and
why?
It's not why. It's
Why?
like the word. I mean. Okay, because every strong guy's got to be named Braun. I don't know if you ever heard of Braun Strowman. You familiar with Braun Strowman?
I've heard of the man.
Yeah. So this is basically the Braun Strowman name formula. Only instead of strongman, we have Breaker. Only it would be too obvious if his last name was Breaker because someone might actually have that last name, like a Jim Breaks or something like that. So you got to make it with 2 Ks. Breakaker.
Yeah, I mean, give him a nickname, give him something. Tell me call him the Dogface Gremlin because you brought it up on TV. Call him the Dogface Gremlin Braun Breaker, and I'll be fine with that. This is Curtis Axel level type of thinking here, where it's like we want to keep him away from his old man's name because we don't want people. He's a second generation wrestler. We just don't want you to know who his father was.
I'm sorry, but Braun Steiner is a legitimate name, and his name is Bronson Reichsteiner.
Rex Steiner was a great name that was the first. That was 1.0 of Braun Breaker, and that's a perfectly good name. Call him the King, Rex Steiner, or something like that.
And it's what his gimmick already is, Jeff.
Yes.
He comes out dressed like a Steiner brother.
He's a Steiner brother. We want to watch him suplex people.
Yes, and I want to go.
I demand.
He's a Steiner. He's a there are a lot of people who didn't get to see Steiners growing up. This guy is a Steiner, and oh, by the way, he's not bad.
No.
I'm not. Push him to the moon might be a bit too much, but he's got something for sure. And I just Braun Breaker, just absolute crap.
Von Wagner. It sounds like a mall clothing line or something like that. Have you tried on the new Von Wagner jeans?
And
the
dude's look. His look is just the most generic. Yeah, he's in good shape or whatever.
He looks like his old man. He's sneaky tall.
Nondescript blue tights, long hair. Just
he needs Mike Enos's kid to join him. That's all I want right now because I love me. I sent you that AWA from 1990 with Tully and the Destruction Crew and Larry Zbyszko cutting a promo. That's his old man on there, the tall blonde guy. Yeah, I mean he didn't do too bad in the 4-way, but it was his job basically to catch people. He was just there to stay out of the way for the most part.
And his inclusion in the 4-way, especially after we've never seen him do anything ever. Have we?
We saw him. I believe he had one squash loss on SmackDown.
What? No. But I mean, in the NXT show, we have not actually seen him do
one.
anything.
I thought he had one on NXT where he's part of a tag team. Cal Bloom.
Right. Okay. So not even as this guy to
Correct.
have this dude just show up and be
Yes.
included in
Yes.
this title match.
Yes.
I thought actually devalued the
Yes,
title. Some.
it does. On your debut, you should win whatever match you're in. Always.
Yes.
Always.
And I'm not sure that this guy needed to be in the conversation with Pete. Like, the theme of the show was, we're getting the young guys in.
I forgot that news. Pete Dunne re-signed for 3 years.
So, like, I don't think they needed to beat us over the head with that in the title picture. The title picture should be the point of continuity.
Yes.
That it is Ciampa and Dunn and Kyle O'Reilly, who, oh, by the way, is supposed to be cool, but he's cooled instead. He
got put on ice.
Yeah.
By a couple of guys, by Pete Dunne and Ridge Holland.
And also, you already had, before you started doing this stupid stuff with Trick Williams, a guy who is supposed to be in the title picture, which is Carmelo Hayes. And Carmelo Hayes made a lot more sense to be included in the title picture now that it's not Samoa Joe's going up against, but instead Tommaso Ciampa. So, like, I just really...
Well, he hasn't decided which belt he's going for yet, because there's still that Santos Escobar... He has to go after the North American title still, remember, or he's thinking about it. So we don't even know if he's going to go for the big belt or if he's going to be a dummy and use that contract for the mid belt.
Yeah, he might. Well, because Trick Williams is going to lead him down the wrong path.
Tommaso Ciampa is your champion. I think we can all see the blueprint here. He's going to lose it to Ridge Holland eventually, and Pete Dunne's probably going to try and turn on Ridge Holland. That's the way I see it, because they're not going to do anything clever with this NXT 2.0 for the most part. It's going to be get the young guys over, and that way we can build a pipeline to the main roster. That's what they're going to do here, and I think that's going to be the plan here.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, I think that gets us back to at least watching a developmental show, which is interesting.
And remember when they said, no, it's a third brand. It's not a developmental show. That's the thing. And as soon as it gets that stink of developmental, I think people are going to tune out. I do. I think, look, you got to get the
I think people have already tuned out, Jeff. I think that's why we're watching this, because people have already tuned out.
Oh, dear Lord. I know. Well, no, they had a good number. They had over 700,000 watching this because of the wedding. I'm going to say something, Chris. I overall liked the wedding. My problem with the wedding sketch, it was great comedy, but there is such a thing as trying to put too many jokes in there. And this could have taken away about 4 or 5 jokes for my money. The one where
every sentence was a joke.
What is it? The Harlem Bravado's character when he stands up and tries to interrupt the wedding and nobody knows who that is really. Anyways, this was his introduction to the brand, I believe. When is it, if anybody has any objections, or what was his line? Did somebody say, and then no, nobody said that. Nobody said that at all. It whatever his new name is. I can't remember it. The priest joke I thought landed the first time. They didn't need to do it the second time necessarily. Of course, Beth Phoenix going in there was cool. Them not ruining the wedding was a nice change of pace, I think. I think we've seen too many ruined wrestling weddings. I thought Gargano, the entire time before the wedding, during the wedding, I thought his comedy hit every time. It almost babied him, to be honest with you.
I think, they're turning him slowly.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's kind of like the Grimes thing, like, that whole everything, like, during the backstage stuff was sort of centered around babying Johnny. Like, Johnny has come around on this. I don't know. I thought look, this is dumb, but I find it entertaining.
I'm fine with unrepentant stupidity. This is unrepentantly stupid.
I thought that this was above average for this sort of thing. I gotta be honest. Speaking of above average, Julius and Brutus Creed are fun. I enjoy.
These are the squashes I want. These are the squashes I've always wanted.
Julius. So I know Brutus is
which one is the bigger one?
Brutus is the bigger one, but Julius is the trash talking one.
Yes, I like him.
That guy is the classic jock asshole.
That guy's the money. That guy's the money of this duo, and they're gonna push the wrong guy when they split him up. Probably.
I know. And no, Julius is
when Brutus stabs Julius.
A2
And
Brutus.
Brute. Come on, give me the Latin.
Yeah,
And I loved Malcolm Bivens' promo. Thank God they gave this kid some promo time. Been waiting for it. She hasn't eaten a carb since 2015. I love these. It wasn't as good as last week's squash, but these dudes are just this. You know what the irony is? You had a Steiner on this show, and this was a Steiner squash in every way. Just T-bone suplexes and all that. Oh,
I cannot wait for the next level where they meet any modest level of resistance and they just go into like overdrive. Because like you're right, this one was more subdued, but that's like that even sort of works because it's like the first week they were really kind of intense. The second week they didn't need to be that intense, so they did what they did. Now they're gonna meet some resistance, and I want them to annihilate that. I cannot wait for more of Julius and Brutus Creed.
And the other side of the coin is the poor introduction of the just ridiculous name of JB and BJ. It's like, dude, pay me some money and I'll come up with a hook for these teams other than their initials are the opposite. And one of those kids is Josh Briggs from Evolve, who's a very good wrestler. And the other one is old Bull Buchanan's kid. The smaller of the two is, and he did his old man's move. He's a second generation wrestler who they won't say who his father was again. And they had him do the, hey, we're here. We're a great team. And then they had him lose. Don't make people lose and cut a promo and then lose. That's just stupid.
No, especially when they have job guy names.
Yes.
Like Josh Briggs, this is his working name or whatever, but like this is also kind of a job guy name, especially when you're paired with a guy named Brooks Jensen. Like that's a George South style name.
Yeah, Brooks Jensen sounds like a guy on the third day of Stagecoach at like 8 a.m, where nobody's going to go watch that concert.
Yeah. Toby Williams opens up for that show.
Toby Williams. Like, Ridge Holland's almost a name like that. The country stylings of Brooks Jensen and Ridge Holland. Yeah.
No, these names are almost like challenge names. Like you have to overcome these garbage ass names.
I gotta give you this ridiculous create a player name. And
you're Braun Breaker. Try to get over.
Well, what does that name mean? I don't know. What do you think it means?
Breaker? No, add an extra K in. That's your name.
Like, let me give you, like, Ray Stevens is a generic name, but you call somebody Ray the Crippler Stevens, I'm in. Now I know what this character's all about. Call him something, man. Call him Brooks the Badass Bull Jensen, and then I'll be fine with that. But they're these.
But the other thing I hate is we have the same initials gimmick that they are really getting into. You got Casey and BJ and JB. Like, yeah, I'm not feeling this. I'm not vibing on this.
But it's weird that I'm down on this type of stuff. But I thought the show was kind of fun.
That's why I made so many faces at the beginning. When you asked me to put the experience into one sentence, it's hard because like I really run this broad gamut of I don't actually think this is good, but I also did enjoy the watching experience just because it was novel, I guess. You know, when the novelty wears off, you know, come and get at me in like 5 weeks or 6 weeks, and I'll probably be hating the crap out of this.
Yeah, I hope Uncle Scott gets an old bronze ear and says, "Look, they give you the title. That first pro, you go, my name's not Braun Breaker. I'm a Steiner, damn it," and just see where that goes. Just see if they respect you for trying to grab the brass ring after that. That would be my love. While we're in the NXT neighborhood, did you see NXT UK at all?
I did see NXT UK at all.
I thought the fun part, I loved the staging of this heel versus heel cup match between Kenny Williams, who I don't like as a character at all, but he and Noam Dar trying to out heel each other during this match. A lot of fun, I thought. And then I thought the tag match, I think Pretty Deadly is still not ready for prime time yet. Their offense is uber repetitive. Over and over and over again.
Yeah, they are very much products of the WWE system, and they don't know how to they just okay. They do certain things well. I like some of the tandem stuff. They are starting to find a bit of a personality.
Yes, they found their characters.
They found their characters. Yeah, it's the entrance is just a more it reveals growth, and I'll give them that for sure. But I'm with you. I thought that
they're always in first gear in the
Gallus boys really had to carry them. They don't have a lot of variety in their tandem offenses, and they need it. They have kind of a tough. They have a tough act in the sense that they're not big dudes, so they can't do slow power moves that are methodical and like kind of corner. But they're also not really high flyers either. So like off the rope stuff doesn't really work for them. So like they get stuck in this kick, punch, corner punch, kick, punch, punch.
And they're not doing damage with the kicks or punches. That's the problem. And they're not elevating the kicks and punches to be more damaging as they go. So it's just.
They need to be doing limb work. This is a team that needs to be doing limb work. They need to have teams. And they need to have a tandem submission or something. Like something that actually like targets a limb. Like the spilled milk is really, I mean, beyond it being just kind of like ho hum. And I get that a heel finish should be like ho hum to an extent. I don't think it actually helps tell a story.
I love a devastating heel finisher because that kills off the babyface and makes the crowd angry.
I'm with you on that too. I like you can go either way. But like
what do they call it? The big rig. I love the big rig.
Yeah, or like the Vegematic. The shattering machine is what they used to call it in the
Shatter
NXT.
Machine.
Yeah. I like those sorts of moves too. I think that Pretty Deadly needs that. They need to use each other's friendship, like they need to be like just a well-oiled machine that works in tandem more.
What else?
They win by synergy.
They fight like pretty boys, and I think they need to get rid of that and kind
of. And that would be fine if that prompted them to start working dirty. They're getting hit in the if
they get hit in the face, they get upset and then they start cheating.
Yes, then they really start cheating.
Because they become desperate because your good looks are the money or whatever, something like that.
Well, it's like that. It's a bit of an affront, and it also would give a prompt for them to go into second gear. So it's all fun and games, and they're all gentlemanly, and they're all like they're like doing the struts and all that sort of stuff until you hit them in the face. Then they actually get angry. And, like, they can get mean at that point. Like, they do the pretty thing, but I don't know that we ever see the deadly side. I mean, for real.
That was a great line. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We see the pretty. Let's see the deadly part. Yeah, I have a little bit of that issue with Daniel Red Death with 2.0.
Okay.
I want to see him more as a killer.
I'm with you on that.
As opposed to kind of being a guy pretending to be a killer a little bit more. I think that would help that act with 2.0 a bit.
I'm with you. Stevie Turner and Amelia McKenzie certainly had a match that
you wanted to talk about that. You chose something to talk about.
Yeah. No, because Stevie Turner looks like Thomas Dolby. And I needed to get that in. And if I didn't get that into the show, this would have been a bad show.
I had 3 jokes and I need to get that one in.
I still got one more for later. Yeah,
okay.
I got one more later. Yeah, no, but the Stevie Turner looks like Thomas Dolby. Probably should be a baby face. I don't know if the heel thing's really working for her.
Let's
Charlie Dempsey is gonna. Charlie Dempsey, baby.
Okay, great.
I said his name.
Anything on SmackDown? Let's just finish all the WWE for now. We can get a little to AEW to end it.
Okay, so like Rey Mysterio finally
This
delivered.
is the only thing to talk about. This is the only thing to talk about.
He finally delivered. He finally delivered tonight. I need to get it up because for a long time we've done Mysterio family theater, and I gotta tell you, Jeff, it's over now. It's over because Rey Mysterio did this better than I could ever hope to when he said tonight on commentary to Pat McAfee, as a parent, you have to understand, that's my son.
I wish McAfee. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Appreciate that. Wait, Dominic's your son? What? You should just play dumb. Wait, what? How did I not know this? I watch the program every week. Dominic Mysterio's your son. Wait, Dominic Mysterio. Oh, Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio. Got it.
Ray. Family is so powerful.
Family is so
family
powerful
is powerful.
that I have to remind people that he's my son every week. That's how powerful it is. Oh God! Oh, this is such a.
When he said that, I was in near tears. I like. It couldn't get any better than that. Like CM Punk on commentary, not interested. Rey Mysterio on commentary, get my money. Where's my wallet?
It's such a, and the people who do improv, because I know a lot of people listen to this that do improv or have tried it. It's such a level one labeling. As a parent, as a doctor, as a mechanic, I have to tell you. Oh, wait, you weren't fixing a car for your space work when I came out on stage, so you'd let me know you were a mechanic? You're just going to stand there and just do nothing and then go, I'm a mechanic. Okay, great. I'm a Mysterio. And as a parent, I have to let you know.
As a mechanic, I work on cars all the time.
Oh, never die, Mysterio Family Theater. I want... I want some sort of alternative comedy whenever he's coming on, like just three guys in seats, just cracking wise at a screen when Mysterio is on and trying to emote and act. My God, my son, let's go, boy. Beat Sammy, son. Oh, it is the worst. Let's go to AEW, I guess, unless you had anything else lingering there. We can't top the Mysterio conversation.
No, you can't top the Mysterio conversation. I don't know that the Bianca Knoxville thing is going to right the ship on Becky and Bianca. I think Becky's still kind of like working as a babyface, and I even thought that end interaction where Bianca holds, Becky crashes the celebration, but then like Bianca like forces the issue, like, you know, she wasn't letting go of Becky, like Becky was gonna hit her,
you know what? They should have changed her to theme. I think that would do it, because everybody wants to cheer when they hear "whoa," that kind of thing.
That would help. That would help for sure. She should get one of those. Like they've got a lot of bland themes. They can go to their little bland like theme library that they've amassed here.
You mean a bland theme like for Braun Breaker? Breaker's bland.
They have a massive bank of bland, like boring riffs, like the worst riffs.
By the way, I'll throw this trademark at you. They WWE this week trademarked a new thing for Becky Lynch: Big Time Becks. Does that do heel things for you?
No, it doesn't.
In your loins? Okay.
No, it does not do heel things for me. Oh, one other thing. They forgot on SmackDown to turn on Rick Boogs' guitar effects. So he had to go out there and die the worst death of any guitar player. Like, God love the man. He had to go out there and play with no amp effect or anything, just the clean tone direct in. You might not catch it, but if you go back and listen to it, it's like plank, 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 plank. Like, and I saw him try to play through it. What he realized is if I don't actually play the notes, he won't notice it so much. But yeah.
That's been this week's guitar criticism by Chris Novembrino.
I'm gonna hate hard.
Okay.
That's actually the tagline for that segment.
Something I am not hating. I am jacked up to the gills for this AEW shows next week between Rampage and Dynamite. Both 2 hours, both have a kind of pay-per-view type of feel. I thought that the one lacking thing in Dynamite was no Ruby Riott pushing this match in some kind of promo. They could have cut the Gun Club promo, which didn't matter. Everything else was driving towards this thing, and they rectified it on Friday with the face-to-face. I thought
Oh,
maybe.
Did they?
Okay,
Did
hold
they?
on. Let me explain myself, that I'm not totally on board with this Ruby promo, because I thought this Ruby promo was going great until she invoked "you're being up in Tony Khan's ass," and that's kind of fourth wall I don't like. And if you're gonna compare,
I don't even think that was the only problem.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think that Britt Baker, she's in yet another region where they don't seem to notice that she's a heel.
Yeah, you know what? I this is just burying me all the time about this thing. I thought it was gonna be a regional thing, and now it's not.
Well, that's not even your line. There are other people who are saying the regional thing, like that was a bit of an internet trope, and that's what I'm not necessarily going at you.
Okay.
No, but there were a lot of people who said, "Oh, it's regional." That's why Canny was saying it's regional.
Wait, where's Canny's mask? You just brought him up.
Yeah, okay, so
Canny, he's a faux luchador.
He's got no jaw. He has no jaw. Like, he can't actually talk this week.
Just taking a leak on the Mexican tradition and going without his mask. Come on. This is the worst consistent bit that we have, because Canny can't remember. Canny's a bad actor. Canny can't remember his mask. Can't remember his costumes. What?
Canny's not a bad actor.
I saw Canny.
Canny's a great actor.
No, I saw Canny in our town. He was terrible.
Well, you should see him in Les Mis.
Oh, really? What part does he play in Les Mis?
Jean Valjean.
Oh, he took the lead of Jean Valjean?
He was going to be Javert, but he decided that he wanted something a little bit bigger, a little more ambitious.
Yeah, I could see
and he got it. Local theater production, little Dallas Community Theater. It's nice. We're
now I want to see it. Now I want to see a can as Jean Valjean. I don't care what anybody says.
His interactions with Cosette are actually quite touching. He has a real poignancy. We're
terrible. Continue.
Yeah. What were we on?
Ruby
Riott. Okay, Ruby Soho.
Ruby Soho.
Britt Baker actually analogizes in a lot of ways to Becky Lynch. So you're talking about big time Bex. Britt Baker keeps going out there and doing the DMD, which is something to get the crowd on board with. Mm-hmm. And she even stops and lets the crowd finish it off, and then gives a satisfied smile. When she walks out tonight on Rampage, she's looking at the audience, she's smiling. She sees Tony, regional babyface Tony Schiavone, and she gives Tony a big hug. And the crowd is very happy about that. And then Ruby Soho comes out and diminishes Britt Baker, who this crowd likes. And then Britt Baker, delivers these lines, and some of these zingers are too valid. This isn't working. She's not working as a heel because she consistently fails to get baby faces over. Ruby Soho may be over still after this interaction with Britt Baker. I suspect she will be, but it will be in spite of, not because of, the interaction with Britt Baker. Ruby Soho could have a feud with Nyla Rose wherein she prevails and be more over at the end of that and more established as a character than she will be in this match with Britt Baker, unless she beats Britt Baker, which would be a hot shoddy sort of move. It would certainly be a play. I don't think it would be the right play. But Britt Baker is failing to get baby faces over because she's too over herself.
I agree wholeheartedly with you. My point was more, I liked this version of the taking shots at WWE versus, say, Christians on Wednesday, where he was talking about developmental and leaving developmental and all of those. I just, there are ways you can tear down this. And I'm a total hypocrite about these things too, I admit, because Crockett would always do that, but it was more, here's what it is. You need to build your company up more than tearing theirs down. And here's where I'm a hypocrite, because I loved ECW when they used to call it the circus. Tom Pritchard went to the circus. That's why he's not here. You don't get that joke in 2 weeks, you'll flip over it or whatever, when you join the Body Donnas and stuff. But Crockett would always go, well, these are where real men come to fight versus, wearing costumes and blah, 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 and this and that and the other. And here it's more like They're tearing Adam Cole down, even though he's supposed to be a superstar, and they're tearing down developmental at the same time. It's not working for me in some ways.
Yeah, saying that Adam Cole lost the Wednesday Night Wars
Yes.
actually does hurt Cole, I think, in substantial enough ways. I don't find that to be a constructive usage of heat getting or whatever. I actually think that probably actually takes the teeth and the sting out of Cole. This is, in a way, it's like, I like this show, but it remains a bit of a tough show for me to review just because, like, I don't care for the Omega stuff at all. People seem to be enjoying it, and so in that sense, I feel like it's successful. But Kenny as a heel character right now, to me, is just boring.
I thought the show did what it was supposed to do, because it felt like they were trying to fit in too much because it was a go home show in some ways.
One other thing, another example of bad heat getting. I think that Jericho and Swagger doing the who's on top thing was tasteless, bad for all these like, you get all these MMA guys in there and they're all named guys, and then you introduce
they don't put them over on TV. Yeah,
you don't put them over on TV, and you introduce a homophobic chant now for people to chant at this group whenever they come out. Like, I don't really think that was the play.
Yeah. I liked the FTR Sting Tully thing where he no-sells the chair, and Tully just looks so tiny now from back in his days when he was like really kind of jacked and taking a few roids here and there to get bigger. I just love the look of him being a feeble old man next to Sting, who is still a giant. Here's what I want next week in that tag match. I want Sting to no-sell the Spike Pile Driver like Hawk of the Road Warriors. I think that'll get a huge reaction. I liked the MJF promo. I know a lot of people didn't. I know a lot of people said that's the wrong kind of heat, blah, blah, blah. But compared to the wink, wink, nudge, nudge stuff he usually does, I thought that was great. I think Pillman Jr. is terrible on promos. He's doing the wrong kind of promo. He's doing the all the hometown people are going to love me type of promo, instead of being bad and taking this personally, saying, look, you leave my father's name out of your mouth, or I'm going to knock your teeth out type of thing. It was the, I'm not, this line killed me because it works on two different levels and it's a little uncomfortable on one. You're not just not messing with a man, you're messing with a pill man. For Brian Pillman. No bueno.
Yeah. I don't think Pillman Jr. is good at promos either. I like him, though, as a babyface. Like, I see something in the dude. I just think I'm from Cincinnati. Cincinnati the Bengals, Cincinnati. I think that actually does, unlike other things, have the ability to be a very regional babyface thing. And unless this show is going to start running reliably in Cincinnati, they're going to need to come up with something better.
I don't think
Brian
they even
Pillman.
like the Bengals in Cincinnati sometimes, so it just depends on the year.
It's gonna be a tough sell for Brian Pillman Jr. here. So either AEW needs to run in Cincinnati once a month, or they're gonna have to come up with something else for Brian Pillman Jr. to get over than just be like Cincinnati, look at Tiger, Cincinnati.
Last thing I have is I wouldn't have beat Dante Martin in that FTR tag match. I would have beat Matt Sydal. I think we have to start rationing the Dante Martin losses, because I think back in the 80s you always had the white hot young baby face he'd get beat by the veteran guys, but he'd also like team with a guy of a similar, I'm thinking like Sam Houston would sometimes team with Pez Watley, and they'd get
I knew you were going to go Pez Watley. No, Matt Sydal is totally the Pez Watley.
Yes,
here.
He's the Pez Watley here, and it's one of those things where they can get wins over George South and Gene Ligon if you wanted to, but anytime Houston would team with Dusty, he's taking the fall here. And that's what I think they should be doing with Dante Martin a little bit here is connect him to a top babyface as well. Let them team a couple times. He can take the loss there, but he shouldn't be taking the loss when he's not with a guy who's a top guy. That was my thing. But I love the Excalibur line. Made me start rolling on my couch. It's like Excalibur goes, they're one of the best ever AEW tag team champions. They're also one of the only AEW tag team champions, Excalibur. Any thoughts on Dante Martin?
I like him. I agree with you that they need to ration the losses. The right team won in this match. I continued watching FTR for me remains a little bit frustrating. Just it's like you sent me the clip of them doing a spot with Pillman where they took something like out of the old 90s.
I'll explain. Yeah, they copied the Brain Busters who were doing this spot where Tully had his hands behind his back and he's ducking punches and stuff, and Arn gets a phantom tag or gets a tag that the guy doesn't see, and then he's continuing to taunt him with his hands behind his back, and Arn comes in and hits the guy from behind.
Yeah, it's great. FTR has all those sorts of things sprinkled in their matches, and other teams in this company kind of don't do that. I find FTR's matches to be really enjoyable in a way that I don't necessarily feel about other tag teams.
Anything in AEW or on the Lazy River you would like to talk about? Chris?
Oh, I was scanning Dynamite. I was just trying to see
dead air, Chris.
No. I didn't want to go doot while I was like scanning.
Okay.
I'm just trying to see if there was anything that we maybe missed from Raw or something.
Yeah, the beginning of Raw was great. The end of Raw was pretty great.
Everything
that stunk.
Yeah, Nikki Ash got that weird win over Tamina that she wasn't supposed to get, I guess.
What are we doing?
I don't know. Bad stuff.
Yes.
Doudrop beat Eva Marie
again.
Which okay.
Which means Eva Marie is probably getting a win at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It's a cool down match or something like that.
And then what do we have on Rampage? We had Lucha Brothers and Butcher and the Blade. That was cool.
Okay.
That was okay. People are higher on the Lucha Brothers week to week than I am.
Same.
Anna Jay defeating the Bunny. This is a bit of a rough match.
Yeah. When Tay Conti's your ring general out of the 4 women out there.
Yeah. And then Miro defeats Fuego del Sol to get Del Sol's car, which was strange.
I like they didn't take the car. I mean, I was expecting a crash or
no, but we're gonna get like the car as a follow up, and I think the problem with this is that no one at home.
No one bought in.
No one bought it. So I don't think that this necessarily delivered what it needed to deliver for Fuego. If anything, this only works if you've gotten Fuego to the point where you kind of believe in this guy as an underdog because he's gotten some sort of meaningful upset victory.
Yes.
Like he beat, I don't know, somebody.
Hawk, something like that.
I mean, what if he beat Adam Cole in Adam Cole's debut? Like it's a roll up or something, but like he beat him.
Right.
And it's like this thing that's bothering, that's out there. It wouldn't necessarily be the guy, but it works if off of that.
How about one of the Young Bucks? In a singles match as opposed to a tag match. He
beats both of them in singles competition, and based off of that, he's feeling like, okay, maybe I've got something here. Yeah. And now he wants to go back against Miro, and then he puts the car on the line.
Yes.
That could get fans to go, oh man, I don't know if Fuego's going to do it. But like maybe he could. Maybe
they seem to like him a lot. Even the people that know the backstage stuff, as opposed to just watching the television program, would buy into it.
And like you can have like an interaction with Sammy and Fuego, where Sammy's like, are you sure you can beat Miro? And Fuego's like, dude, I beat Nick Jackson. I beat Mark Jackson. Not Mark Jackson. The other Jackson.
He's the best friend in the Kumite. Have you seen me? Did you see how I finished that guy? And I'm gonna go finish the bad guy.
Yeah. I got this. Mm-hmm. And I think then it becomes compelling. Also, if you're gonna do this, you have to give this match a little bit more time than it got. Because you got to get people to bite into that this story has a chance of maybe playing out for Fuego. That he might drive off with the car and the title at the end of this. I thought the absence of that sort of goobered out Fuego a little bit. And like Sammy comes to make the save, and even that softly goobers out Fuego a little bit. Because now Sammy's got to come in and save his his injured Apollo Creed friend after the big Russian murders him.
Yeah, I did like Miro's line. I serve my God up above and my woman serves me down below. He's so good at this character. 4-man booth again, but this time Ricky Starks in there with Jericho. Mark Henry just doing his main event promo stuff. Starks brought nothing. Jericho brought too much. I just make it Taz and Excalibur, please.
Punk's great. I enjoy Punk.
Punk's fine.
Yeah, he's
on the main. He's not. I don't think he's gonna do Rampage commentary, but I mean, if he does, he'd be welcome.
That'd be great, actually. Especially since you don't need him week to week. He'd be actually a really welcome addition on Rampage. He doesn't need to be on every Rampage. He can be a Dynamite only guy, and then tune in to see CM Punk do commentary on Friday nights is a
that might be a draw.
Yeah.
And Hook has great hair. We'll end it on that. You can follow me at Crap Game 13. You follow Chris at DWATG. You can just follow the show at Shake Them Ropes, all one word. We are part of the Voices of Wrestling Radio Network. Podcast network. You can watch the video of us talking and seeing each other's facial expressions on youtube.com/voices of wrestling. We'd like to thank our sponsor this week, my bookie. Use code ROPES, double your first deposit. Chris has other interests. I don't, because I tend to watch wrestling every day now. It's become a thing. But he does a show called Don't Worry About the Government he's going to tell you about right now.
Yeah, so first, if you want to see me play guitar, one of my other big interests, there's actually a YouTube channel for that now. You can go and search Chris Novembrino on YouTube and sub up to that.
I was hoping it was going to be called like Screw Rick Boogs or something like that.
No. Although there is me playing the Rick Boogs Nakamura theme the week he did it, and I actually do tremolo picking, unlike Rick Boogs, who just picks the note. I'm just saying, it's not a thing. It's just, maybe I'm doing it. But you can go and check that out, Chris Novembrino on YouTube. The other shows, Don't Worry About the Government. Now, also on YouTube, I'm doing trying to do at least 2 times a week, but probably upwards of 3 times a week, a shorter format, which we're tentatively calling the DWATG Dispatch. They're closer to 30 minutes sort of thing. And you can check those out on YouTube, or you can go to patreon.com/DWATG. You can follow the show at DWATG on iTunes and Stitcher and Spotify. And I got this, Hawkins. I wanna end on a tribute to Norm Macdonald. So I thought the best tribute I could do is write a joke for Norm Macdonald in the style of Norm Macdonald. So I'm gonna do my best Norm here. So Hawkins, have you heard about the coronavirus?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about it too. So I was reading this week that the Health Board in Canada said that the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine will now be called, and this is for real, Hawkins, Comirnaty. The Moderna vaccine will now be called Spikevax, and the AstraZeneca vaccine will be called, and again, Hawkins, this is for real, Vaxzevria. Vaxzevria.
I think you should have just called it Kill Corona.
This is like if McDonald's renamed the chicken nuggets to Clucker Partlets or something. You're taking a perfectly fine named thing and naming it Vaxzevria.
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 Good night.